see here when, let me just, I was saying this outside, I'm going to say it again. American banks and hedge funds are exposed to European junk debt. And when this crisis in Europe unravels, and when we see not just Greece and Italy, but Spain and all the other countries essentially defaulting and they can't survive, when essentially we're going to bail all these guys out, we can't bail them all now, you're going to see that America, China, and all these other countries will be deeply involved in this crisis, much worse than it is right now. And I think we're going to see this happening, if not in December, January 2012. Right. And lastly, I just want to say this. Today is a Saturday, and I know that a lot of folks tonight are going to be sitting home watching X Factor. I would say this. See, this is the problem we have in this society. If you want to change society, you can't do it when the average person is sitting home watching X Factor and Dead Enders. All right? If you're watching Dead Enders or EastEnders or whatever it is every single night, and then you complain about how our society sucks and I don't have any money, well, guess what? Get out here and help these people. You know, support these people. You know, these protests are not about anti-capitalism or socialism. It's about our democracy. Again, the fact that we don't have a true democracy. It's a theater show. It's all a theater show so that we can say, oh yeah, here we go. We vote for Mr. Obama, Mr. Cameron, but really they're just answering to Goldman Sachs. So what I'm saying is, look, instead of vegging out every single night and watching those crappy TV shows, get out here and help these guys, help you out. All right? And I'll say this as well. My prediction is that in the next 12 months as well, we're going to see protests and riots, not just in London, not just in Wall Street, but every major city in the world, including Berlin, including every other country. Why? Because when people get pissed off, when they see their savings and their money vanish in front of their eyes, they're going to see the true scale of this crisis. And that's when they're going to realize they should have supported you instead of sitting home and watching those shows. But I also want to say this too before I finish. We've got to be realistic about how much we can achieve with these protests. Okay? We've got to be realistic. I don't believe we can change Wall Street by these protests, and I'll say to you why. The only thing you can change by these protests is by stopping this greedy culture of bonuses for the banks. The BBC called me up, called me up the other day and asked my opinion. I'm going to say this again. I have a relative who was shot in Afghanistan in the U.S. Army. One of my relatives shot in the U.S. Army in Afghanistan. He came home with a wound in his leg. They didn't get a bonus. All right? There are nurses and doctors putting their lives at risk every single day. They don't get a bonus. Yet the banks who caused this crisis, and they're profiting from it, they think they deserve a bonus. But people, I noticed that my name has been put as a banker in the... Okay, I don't pay myself a bonus. I trade my own money, my own capital. Okay? I don't trade other people's money. I don't pay myself a bonus. Right? I trade to sustain my own living. But the bankers out there who trade your money and lose it, by the way, and they pay themselves a bonus, they think that they deserve something special. The second thing I want to say, the last thing I want to say before I go is this. One thing that what I appreciate is Wall Street eventually, in my opinion, will always win. The banks will always win against the small guys, against you. And here's why. Ask yourself, how do the banks make money? How does Wall Street make money? They do it by manipulating the ignorance and irrationality of human beings. Okay? What I'm trying to say is, the only way that Wall Street wins is by relying on human irrationality, by manipulating your fear and greed. Just give me an example. This is one thing I know. In a situation, when a market crashes, when a market goes down, what usually happens is that when stock prices fall, the biggest temptation people have is, when they see stock prices fall, is they think, oh, it's a bargain. Stocks are cheaper. So your broker gives you a call saying, hey, listen, buy these stocks, they're cheaper. They're down 20%. So the average human person thinks, oh, he's right. Stocks are cheaper, it's a discount, buy low, sell high, and they go buy them.
Sorry, technical point. Could people move slightly further into the room? It's filled up. You've got a popular full house row. Keep it up.
As I was saying, when stocks drop, 2 months later, you see your money is basically gone down even more, your profits, I mean, you don't have any profits, you've lost more money. Your broker gives you a call and says, hey, look, that stock you just bought 2 months ago, it's down another 20%. It's even cheaper. Go buy some more. So you go buy some more because you think it makes sense. Stocks are cheaper. Buy low, sell high. What they don't tell you is that those stocks can go all the way to zero. All right? Just as we saw in 2008, one of the major and one of the best financial institutions in the world, Lehman Brothers, went bankrupt. Nobody thought that Lehman Brothers was going to go bankrupt. But instead, as we saw, people were buying their stocks cheaper and cheaper until all the way it went to zero. So what I would advise is, if you really want to hurt Wall Street, you can't just do it by protesting. You've got to invest in yourself, invest in your mind, not just invest in the markets. Okay? As I mentioned before, Wall Street makes money by human ignorance of the financial markets and by human irrationality. You want to hurt them? Read and educate yourself about how the financial markets work. Because when you wise up, they know they cannot manipulate it. Thank you.
I'd like to ask you a question. One minute, please. I'd like to ask you one question.
I just would like to facilitate it, not everybody shouting.
So there's one question, an important question. Since the global occupations have started, there seems to be a large trend in an increase in the large banking stocks. Now, I find this, is it accurate? I mean, this is as reported by the Kaiser report. Generally, most of what I've seen seems to be corroborated.